Assalamu alaikum. This video is about the pathological lab 509 and it will cover the test in which we will involve in counting of the cells. CBC, what is CBC? CBC or complete blood count is a blood test which is used to evaluate the overall health of a person. And by the CBC, we can detect a variety of the disorder, including anemia, infection, and leukemia. These are basically three types of major disorder which easily be ruled out by this diagnostic test, and it is one of the very common prescribed test. What it measures basically all types of cells present in the blood. And we will discuss later on that what types of cells are present in the blood. What are the objectives? We will first revise the blood and blood's composition and its major functions. Then we will explain why we are performing the CBC and its significance. What are the blood collection techniques and what are different types of tubes used for the collection of the blood depending upon their cap color. What is the procedure which we will perform in our lab, and what are the consequences and the associated pathological disease if the blood cells count is not normal. So first of all, we will learn what is blood. Blood is a connective fluid which is mainly present in humans and other animals. That is very essential, a necessary substance that require to transport the nutrients and oxygen to each cells. And it also transports metabolic waste products away from those same cells. And it is mainly composed of different types of blood cells which are suspended in the plasma. Blood is circulated throughout the body, and by the process of this circulation, it delivers these substances, essential substances like oxygen, like nutrition to the body cells. What is the composition of the blood? Blood contains two major portions. One is formed element and other is plasma or serum. Formed elements are of three types. These are RBCs, that is erythrocytes, or WBCs, that is leukocytes or platelets. Leukocytes are further divided into granulocytes and agranulocytes. As far as plasma or serum is concerned, serum is comprises of several organic and inorganic materials, including amino acids, nitrogenous waste products, certain biochemicals, certain biomarkers, electrolytes, nutrients, gases, proteins like albumin, like fibrinogen, like globulin. As far as the function of the blood is concerned, the major function of the blood is to carry the oxygen from the lungs to the body and carbon dioxide as a waste away from the tissue and back to the lungs. The first thing is the gaseous exchange, जिसमें basically RBCs mainly involve. About 45% of the blood is composed of the formed elements, that is RBCs, WBCs or platelets, and 55% of the blood is the plasma. So it gives certain viscosity to the blood as well. Among all three formed elements, we all know that RBCs are those cells which are present most abundant in the blood, accounts about 40 to 45% of the blood, and these are biconcave, non-nucleated, disc shape of the diameter of about up to 8.2 micrometer. It contains hemoglobin, and iron is present in the hemoglobin, which produces or gives the color to the blood, which is red. And RBC cannot repair themselves, and the duration of their life is about 120 days. About 4 million new erythrocytes or RBCs are produced in 1 second by a normal healthy human, and the male has the higher RBC content as compared to female due to the changes in their hormonal values. That is, male has the higher value of testosterone, which stimulates the erythropoiesis and also stimulate the hormones of the involved in the synthesis of the RBC. So the range is about up to 5.9 million per millimeter cube for the male, and for the female it is from 3.5 to 5.5 million. The major function of the blood is performed by the RBC. So RBCs are mainly involved in the gaseous exchange and the pickup of the carbon dioxide from other tissues, and it transported to the lungs. Other type of cells are WBCs, which accounts for only 1% of the blood, and the range is about 4,500 to 11,000 per millimeter of blood, and these are the cells that are mainly involved in the immunity of the body, and they help the body and they protect the body against any foreign substances and various type of infections. WBCs are present in those parts, especially in connective tissues, in lymphatic systems and in blood streams where there is a chance of the infection. For example, in gut, in lungs, they also have their reservoir as a lymphatic system. Detailed functions of the WBC will be discussed in the next lecture of the differential leukocyte count. So we are not going into much details. And they are of two types, granulocytes and agranulocytes, depending upon the presence of the granules on the WBCs. And the granulocytes are of three types: neutrophils, basophils and eosinophils, while agranulocytes are the lymphocytes and monocytes. For the bacterial infections, neutrophils will work, and for the viral infection, lymphocytes are more capable of working. They kill the microorganism by the process of phagocytosis, and they also activate certain superoxides and other chemical mediators to kill the microbes. Their lifespan is not so much, and it varies from 2 to 3 days to up to 12 days, depending upon the types of the WBC and the infectious condition of the body. Among all WBC, lymphocytes are those cells which have the lifespans as a memory cell and in weeks, which accounts for the larger lifetime. Third type of form elements are platelets, or which are mainly involved in the process of clotting, and very important type, and they are basically the breakdown components of the RBCs, and they their value is in between of RBC and WBC, that is about 50,000 to up to 4 lakh per millimeter cube of the blood. They promote the blood clotting mechanism by secreting several types of coagulants, and they also participate in vasoconstricting and by constricting the blood vessels, causing vascular spasm and formation of a loose platelet plug. They also maintain the growth of the lining of the blood vessels. Then, to perform CBC, we should aware of different types of blood collection techniques, and as well as blood collection tubes, which are mandatory to understand the prevention and treatment of the disease. In our lab, we will follow the first type of technique, which is the finger stick or capillary blood sampling technique. Using a sterile safety lancet, string is punctured running of lancet with the center of the finger, and usually third and fourth finger is selected. Those fingers are avoided which are cold or which are cyanotic, which are swollen or scarred, or tube or a device like a capillary tube by a gentle pressure on the finger, and squeezing is not allowed. Avoid excessive pressure. Drop of the blood. Whatever the type of the tube is using, we should cap it and rotate it and invert it to mix the blood with the anticoagulant present in the container. Then place a pressure on the finger to stop the bleeding, and proper disposing of the contaminated material should be essential. As we will follow this procedure in our lab, so it is very important to discard the lancet properly by bending its needle and covering in a particular any type of discarded paper, and then throw it in a dustbin. If possible, then it is necessary to label the tube with the name of the patient and the date. However, for the pathological lab, a phlebotomist should be there. A professional person should collect the blood sample from the venous system or vein puncher. It is the most common way to collect the sample from the patient, especially the adult patient, and collection is done from a superficial vein, either in the upper limb, that is the median cubital vein close to the skin, and as it doesn't have many large nerves in the nearby position, a phlebotomist should be trained enough so that the patient should feel very neglected pain and discomfort. Immediately after venous puncture, syringe is filled, and the syringe is then empty in the pre-selected vacuum filled tube with specific color of the top. Arterial sampling is done only in the hospital setting, and basically it is used for the identification of certain metabolic, respiratory and acid-base disorder where carbon dioxide level requires, and it for the understanding and monitoring of the disease. This procedure can be upsetting and painful for the patient, so it is usually avoided and contraindicated in many conditions. For the infants, the best collection area for the collection of the blood is the heel of the infant. By specific type of procedure, the phlebotomist will collect the sample from the blood from the heel of the baby by simple by simply puncturing the heel of the infant. We have different types of blood collection tubes, and the order of filling of the tube is very essential. If we have to collect several types of samples, then first yellow or yellow-black top bottle are selected, which are for the cultural bottles sent for the checking of the bacterial culture. Second filling is of the coagulation bottle, having the light blue. Third one, depending upon the test, sometimes it's happened that it is recommended that only serum is collected, not the cells. So for that sampling, we just require the serum, not the cells, and the sample will be undergo certain centrifugation. In these conditions, the serum should be physically separated as soon as possible with a maximum time of the 2 hours of the collection. About 10 minutes centrifugation is essential for the separation of the blood formed elements from the serum. Centrifuge should be balanced before its performance, and noise level should be checked. If abnormal voice or noise vibration is observed, then we will not centrifuge it and stop it and check its function. Now, what are blood collection tubes? We have different types of tubes which are vacuum filled, and they have a specific type of blood which make them easily identified by a person to collect the specific type of samples. These tubes, depending upon the cap, contain different types of additives, and due to these additives, their function will be different from each other. Blue top tube contains sodium citrate, and it is primarily used for the coagulation studies, like for the determination of the PT, prothrombin time and thrombin times. And for this, complete filling of this tube is essential to obtain the accurate results. Then we have another type which is navy blue color, and they are those which contain no anticoagulant, and basically the tube is used primarily for the trace metal. Then we have red top tube, and basically it also contain no anticoagulant, and in this red top tube we basically take out the serum. Either it may be red top or it may be yellow top with the serum separator gel in between the tube. So primarily these tubes are basically used for the separation of the serum. Serum will be separated, and then it goes to the determination of the non-formed elements like chemistry, their serology, their immunology, etc. Green top tube are those which contain an anticoagulant, which is sodium heparin or lithium heparin, and basically it is used for the prevention of the clotting by inhibiting these types of anticoagulants, and again it is basically used for the chemical purpose. Then we have lavender or pink top tubes, and this is basically used for the blood form element determination. It contains potassium EDTA, an anticoagulant, and basically used for the most hematological procedures. It is primarily used for the CBC and blood smear and for the DLC. Furthermore, it has a large tube of 6 ml, which also make it suitable for the blood blank procedures as well. Then we have grey top tube, and basically grey top tube is used for the determination of the blood sugar level and for the collection of the blood glucose. As in case of, as it contains the sodium fluoride and sodium or potassium oxalate. The problem is that the glycolysis is continue in the blood even if it is taken out from the human body. So to inhibit the glycolysis and to maintain the optimum concentration which was present in the body, तो इसमें होगा क्या कि ग्लूकोज का लेवल आहिस्ता आहिस्ता डिक्रीज होना शुरू हो जाएगा. तो इसमें ग्लूकोज की कंजम्पशन को इनहिबिट करने के लिए, ग्लाइकोलाइसिस को इनहिबिट करने के लिए फ्लोराइड्स इंक्लूडेड हैं. तो इसमें बाकी तमाम में अगर आप कोई और ट्यूब यूज करेंगे, उससे ग्लूकोज डिटरमिन करेंगे, तो वो रिजल्ट गलत आएंगे और लो कंसंट्रेशन आएगी अगर हम बाकी टॉप की यूज करते हैं. लेकिन ग्रे टॉप यूज करते हैं तो इट कंटेन्स फ्लोराइड विच इनहिबिट्स द ग्लाइकोलाइसिस एंड इट मेक इट सुटेबल फॉर द डिटरमिनेशन ऑफ द ग्लूकोज इन द ब्लड. अनदर इम्पॉर्टेंट मेथड ये है कि हम ग्लूकोमीटर यूज कर लें, ग्रे टॉप की यूज ही ना करें और डायरेक्ट हम ग्लूकोमीटर से ब्लड ग्लूकोज लेवल मॉनिटर कर लें. So what is CBC? Basically CBC gives an idea about the counting of these form elements present in the blood and their components which are also the part of the blood. What are these? First of all, red blood cell count, and there are 3 indices like MCV, MCH and MCHC. What are these 3 indices? Basically, they gives the information about the red cell structure, how the RBCs are there. MCV shows the size of the red blood cells. MCH shows the amount of hemoglobin present in average red blood cell, in one blood cell. While MCHC gives the concentration of the hemoglobin in one RBC. It also gives the number of WBC present in the blood. It also gives information the hemoglobin that fill up the red blood cells, and it provides the average value of the hemoglobin present in the blood with percentage wise. It also provides information of hematocrit, which measures the amount of space of red blood cells take up in the blood. As we have discussed earlier, that 45% of the red blood cells are present and 55% are, 45% are total cells are present, among which highest are the RBCs. तो फॉर्म एलिमेंट्स में सबसे ज्यादा हमारे पास टोटल फॉर्म एलिमेंट्स 45% है, उसमें आरबीसी सबसे ज्यादा हैं. तो हेमाटोक्रिट इज बेसिकली द परसेंटेज ऑफ द RBC in the formed element. Then we can easily measure the platelet volume which are involved in the bleeding disorder, and we can also determine the mean platelet volume. That is that कि one platelet volume अगर है platelet तो उसका अपना volume कितना है. एक तो total average हमें total platelets हमें पता चल जाएंगे, and then we can also determine the each average amount of the platelets and its volume, mean volume. By CBC, we can determine the abnormal increase or decrease in cell counts, and all these are basically linked with the several type of pathological disorders. What is the procedure? Initially, the blood sample or sterile blood sample is collected from different sampling site depending upon the person who is taking the sample and its expertise कि वो कौन सी point से आराम से sampling कर सकता है. The most easiest one is the finger stick sampling method, or another is the vein puncher sampling method or venous sampling. Whatever the type of sampling site or sampling procedure is adopted, about 5 ml of the blood sample is taken in purple top diagnostic pre-filled vacuum sealed tubes, and as we have discussed earlier, these tubes contain EDTA, which inhibits the coagulation process and keep the whole blood in its intact form. Either we will go for the handling normal procedure, and we will go for the automatic Huma count procedure, which produces the results in 2 minutes. Ideally, this is the Huma count, an automated Huma count in pathological labs. It is there, and it has several types of modifications available. Among them, the one is the 3L system, in which the white blood cells can be determined on the basis of 2 types. They can determine the counts of white blood cell as a granulocytes and lymphocytes and monocytes. So 3 types of white blood cells can be determined. So the technology is called as 3-part system. And the most advanced system is also there, which is the 5D Huma count apparatus, in which differential leukocyte count is easily determined by using the this automatic Huma count. What we done, we remove the purple cap and place the tube in the point of the sampler and operate the machine by giving the information of the sampling date and name and the ID of the patient, and the machine itself clean itself, and then after cleaning it takes the sample in microliter of the blood and gives the result in the pre-printed form. What are the consequences? Then student can be able to count the RBC, WBC, and can determine the hemoglobin concentration, can determine the packed cell volume and hematocrit, can calculate the number of RBC and recognize different types of method used for the condition and compare these value with the normal ones. And if manual method is carried out, then certain calculation should be done. However, in most cases, manual method is replaced by the automated method. What are the normal ranges? These are the normal ranges. And as we have discussed earlier, RBCs are in between 4.6 to 6.2 higher in male as compared to female. Hemoglobin concentration is about 13 to 18 gram per deciliter, and in female it is slightly low. that is 12 to 16 gram per deciliter. MCV, it about mean cell volume of the RBC is about 80 to 100 micrometer. Mean hemoglobin concentration in average RBC is about 27 to 31 picogram per cell, and 32 to and mean concentration of hemoglobin in average blood cell is about 32 to 36 gram per deciliter. WBCs are in between 4,300 to 10,800, and depending upon the technology, the instrument can be able to determine the WBC in differential count, or maybe it is not so much sophisticated, so simply it counts the normal granulocytes and lymphocytes and monocytes, and platelets can also be determined with the help of this type of automated apparatus. What are the interpretation or consequence? There are three options. The first option is that the results lies in the normal position. So the second option is that any cell count may increase from its normal limit, and the third option is that any cell count may decrease the normal limit. So depending upon the type of cell, we have certain types of disorders which can be easily ruled out from by using this type of test. The disorder related to WBC will be discussed in the differential leukocyte count. So generally, if their level are increasing, then there may be infection or maybe leukemia, either bacterial infection or viral infection, depending upon the type of the WBC. Then we have RBC. If RBC count decreases than normal, then there will be anemia, there will be bleeding, malnutrition, there may be kidney disease, as the hormone involved in the synthesis of the RBC is come from the kidney. And if there is polycythemia, that is increased RBC count from the normal, then there may be hypoxic condition, there may be dehydration, there may be any heart and lung disease. In case of hemoglobin low levels, there may be anemia, bleeding, malnutrition, or cirrhosis or cancer, which decreases the synthesis of the RBC, and as well as the hemoglobin, which is a protein that carries the oxygen. In polycythemia, the concentration of hemoglobin is also increased. So if hemoglobin is increased, then there may be a polycythemia. Then we have the hematocrit value, and this is basically the amount of space in the blood that is occupied by the RBC. It is decreases in anemia, in bleeding, in malnutrition, in cirrhosis and cancer, just like in case of RBC. Then we have problem related to the specific cell volume, that is MCV, which is mean corpuscle volume. Again, there will be anemia, and noted that in case of thalassemia, MCV is changed or decreases. The average size of the RBC is changed. There may be possible that there are RBC which are in normal count. Count is normal, however, the average size of RBC is decreased in case of any disease which is related to the morphological disorder or hereditary disorder of the RBCs. So in case of thalassemia, there is a decrease in the mean cell volume, or MCH or MCHC. So all these are basically related to the morphological disorder of the RBCs. Then we have RDW, which is the red cell white, and most of the time it is not determined. However, if it is determined, again it is the indicative of the anemia, thalassemia or malnutrition. Then we have the platelet count, and platelets are sticky cells that involved in the coagulation. So if their count is decreased or increased, it will highlight the bleeding disorder. Low platelet volume will increasing the bleeding tendency, and high platelet volume counts may trigger the cardiovascular disease and lead to the clot formation in the blood vessel, and lead to the myocardial infarction and ischemia or stroke. One more most important thing is that what should be done before the blood smear. So the person should highlight inform the doctor regarding the prescription or any drug which are over the counter drugs, any supplements and vitamins being taken by the person. So these drugs can interfere with the CBC results and can affect the test results. So it is best to inform the doctor that if the person is taking certain types of medications. Furthermore, the doctor should be aware of the existing medical condition of the patient. For example, maybe person is suffering from any bleeding disorder, any coagulation disorder, any cardiovascular disorder, or certain hereditary disorder like hemophilia or blood pressure or diabetes or any type of autoimmune disease. So it will be good for a person to highlight the concurrent disease, so that a doctor should have a complete picture of the patient. Thank you. It's all about the CBC.